Of the gods and demigods created from the void, Tetsu, heir to the realm of Omnium, received a gift with which he toyed. Sudeki and all its subjects would worship him alone, yet still he longed for another god to share his celestial home. So drawn from him, his crystal skin, another child was born. Yet slicing one, though good and true, the light from dark was torn. At first the brothers celebrated and shared their world in faith, but then the dark grew powerful and love was laid to waste. The dark gave swing to the selfish twin, and he banished out his brother. Now weakening, the good twin fled in search of help from others. Of animal men, one wise and fair, his tribe they turned to flee, while human beings hid their feelings, save the heroic three. 'Twas separation brought us here, how selfish was my wish. So unity will be our new goal, we fight, the angel hissed. They fought the beast so powerful, and forced him to give in. Then, as battle silenced, a rage came o'er the twin. The world was torn asunder, the subjects split in two. Unable to reach the afterlife, death drifted in the gloom. And then the magic ceased, silence took control. An age, 1,000 years would pass before these kin would toil. And of the four who bravely fought, their fate was not to end, for time would tell to save from hell we will need these friends again. Now is the hour that my brother wakes.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Sudeki, and yes, that was a very sudden cut. I'm right now going to be recording commentary over the next hour over the commentary for Sudeki. Now, let me explain Sudeki a little bit. Sudeki was a game for the original Xbox. It was released relatively early on in the console's life cycle, and we'll discuss the studio that made it another time, probably in the next session. But it's a personal favorite of mine. I will say that Sudeki is not the best in the world when it comes to games, but I will say it is probably by far definitely my second favorite game of all time. And it's so very close, because as much as this game doesn't look the best in its load times and maybe its menus, this game has so much personality and character. It is rated M, and it is available on Steam, so if you want, you can play through with me. Well, as I get around to uploading the commentary. I've pretty much recorded most of the game. Actually, correction, I've recorded about half the game as of recording, but because I've already unlocked all the ultimate weapons, it won't be much too longer.
What's the big hurry?
Oh.
Sorry, Elko. Tilly, I'm late. I'm really late. My apologies, man.
And just so you can...
You clumsy ox, watch your step.
I'm gonna explain this. A part of why this doesn't look so good is one, it's on my computer. And two, you can tell the janky animation happens. I'll get into why I think there's janky animation later. But the other angle is I had to record this using fraps at half size, and I don't think it did the game any favors.
I'm gonna make men of you if it's the last thing I do. Now, you might be asking yourself, why
did you join the army? God, I love this game. Sorry, right now I am just basking in the cutscene. I'll let it play out.
So then, Yemi, what's on the agenda today? Elko switches on his tower this afternoon, but you promised we could visit my mother today? Ooh, lucky me. I get to spend all day in a village full of old men. You must have been very bored growing up. I had a lovely time. Only boring people get bored. Really? Well, I was hoping for something a little more exciting, that's all. Perhaps a troop inspection.
Wow, Ailish just... Wow. Keep it in your pants. Keep it in your pants, princess.
Today is another beautiful day to learn the art of killing. The elite guard treats an enemy's death as an art form. You will learn to cut closer and thrust without mercy.
God, there's so much meme fodder in here.
Now,
General Arlo, may I have a quick one?
This had better be good. I don't need to remind you these soldiers are on active duty.
It's just a little VIP visit. Perhaps you could rustle up a display, please?
This isn't the circus, it's the army!
It is by Her Majesty's request, General Arlo.
Is it? Then I guess I'll have to make another exception. Who is she?
Her name is Buki. It's her tribe that hold the crystal I was telling you about.
Ah, Honorable Buki, we are in luck as it happens. The General here was just putting the elite guard through their paces. General?
Yes, Miss, Ibuki.
Why does he have dice on the ends of his hilt? I'm sorry, that's bugged me for years and I still haven't pieced it together.
Tal, you may begin.
And welcome to our combat tutorial. As you can tell, once I'm actually in-game, it looks a whole lot better. That's one of the things I want to say, is the cutscenes can be a little bit choppy and weird sometimes. But for the most part, even now that I'm operating off a laptop, the actual in-game appearances are really nice. This is a really well-done game. And as you can tell from the portrait down there, they were aiming for a very anime style with their character designs. And I feel like they hit the nail on the head. I just don't think anime looks very good in 3D unless you can pull off that whole cel-shaded thing. And since this was before cel shading really took off, or at least it was made before it really took off, because I believe this came out before things like Wind Waker, it's one of those things where they were trying really hard to get an anime aesthetic going in full 3D. And it both works and it doesn't work. It looks very strange. But yes, this is basic combat. There's only two combinations that lead to you being able to chain repeatedly. One is 2 A's and an X, which gives you horizontal swings you can chain back and forth. And another one is 2 X's and an A, which I'll show you here. You can just juggle people, and that's probably your most powerful combo, just because you can juggle a singular person over and over. But every single combination of 3 gives you a different result. So feel free to experiment. For the most part, I tend to just juggle people, but every now and again, stunning people or knocking them away, whichever combination it is, that'll end up serving you really well, depending on how you use it. I love this next line.
You fight well, but a Shadani warrior does not hide behind
Not
the
this
sword.
line, sorry.
I like to see the fear in their eyes and smell the sweat on their brows.
I also like how Tall is just having none of this.
There is no substitute for a good sword in your hands.
Slow and cumbersome, like all men.
God, there is so much in this game that's just so much meme fodder. I'm sorry, I'm just...
Now listen up, men. Intelligence suggests the Achlorians will darken our skies again soon. Now, we don't understand their motives, but it's down to us to try and stop them from entering Illumina. Achlorians employ guerrilla tactics and show no respect for the rules of engagement. They will use every dirty trick they can, and that includes the use of light spawn creatures. These monsters take many forms, so you'd better be prepared for anything.
He's not lying. There's quite a few different light spawn in this game.
And the Queen has decreed we are to take no prisoners. Now, there's a lot of country to cover out there, so make sure you all have your own map to navigate with.
However, I'm not convinced that I actually get around in this session. In the first hour, I definitely get around to it. But it's going to be a little bit before you actually get to see me in true combat for the story. Because there's still quite a few things one can do around Illumina Castle, including a little tiny room that I love so very much. Because it's special if you've played through the game before. You know, it basically tells you everything you need to know once you've played through the game. You're like, oh dear, how did I possibly miss this? So we'll see if I don't edit that out and then insert it later in the playthrough, because it's kind of spoilers, but it's spoilers you can just find if you just do a quest and then find the door. So if you want to spoil it for yourself, yes, I skipped through a lot of the dialogue. If you are not in a cutscene, you're probably not that important. But I just want to show you can talk to pretty much anybody that you run into around here. It's not like most RPGs where they're just complete, non sequitur characters that just... Oh, and I can't go back to my room. But, sir, you're blocking the way to my room. That's my room. I want to go back up to my room. There's actually a reason I wanted to go back up there, but it's not something I'm going to actually be able to deal with. But basically, we see that General Arlo is Tal's father, and that Tal had a white-haired brother. So don't want to say much beyond that, because it will get addressed. But I want to show that off. I want to show off the portrait, because there's like actual reasons for stuff like that. Man, I really am just lingering about and going, hey, check it out. You can even check random things. Hoorah! I do like how alive this place is, despite the interesting animations. But sorry, 1 second. Gonna have to edit that one out. Anyway. Yeah, I'm just robbing random stalls. Was one of the ones I was gonna get to. I was gonna say something else, but then I had to sneeze. But overall, I love how alive this is. Oh, and I think that guy with the tent over there in the corner, you can pay him, I think it's like 20, 25 coins to replay the opening animation, so
Spare anything for a bunch of orphans?
I love this quest.
Well, the gods help those that help themselves. Quick, legged boys!
You got mugged by orphans. And completing this will get you the key to the spoiler room. But you might want to actually do that. I will openly say this. When it comes to this game, there are certain items you're going to find that permanently increase certain stats. I'm not going to tell you why, because we'll get there. But always use them on Tal. Every single one of them, use them on Tal. This is not Chrono Trigger. You don't want to min-max anybody, because ultimately, you're going to want them all on Tal. And anybody who's ever played an RPG before can take 30,000 different guesses that will all be in the same general vein as to why, but I'm not going to say one way or the other. I'm just saying, give it to Tal. Use them all on Tal, because there is no limit to how many you can use, so just use them all on Tal. Or at least I haven't found a limit yet, and I'm over halfway through the game, having done a lot of the side missions, so you just trust me. So you track down each of the kids throughout the entire courtyard, and you talk to all 3 of them. And after you talk to all 3 of them, because they're not going to try and run, you're not going to have to chase them, you just have to find them and talk to them. Once you talk with them, they will give you something. For a brief second, I thought.
But I'm gonna grow up into a mean mama.
I love this
girl. I'm gonna be the first girl to join the Illumina God, just like the boys.
Oh, Minnie, you so cool. Oh, Tal, don't.
Give me that Shadani warrior Buki and tell her that. She would kick your butt.
Yeah! Tal is totally the kind of jerk that would say that, though. He's a good guy, but he's... Well, you saw how he treated Buki. It wasn't even him dismissing her because she was a female warrior. That was him going, it's like, whatever. I'm awesome because I've got a sword. He's very... Yeah.
You can't pin anything on me, Gov. I'm clean.
Yeah, you can talk to them after you've gotten them, but after you do that, it's like, yeah, no, you can't arrest us. We're just orphans. Ain't nobody gonna care. Fun fact, the last time I tried playing through this, which was after this recording session, I totally found all of these kids, and the only reason I thought I had to play through it again is because I thought I had lost the footage. Or is this my room? No, this is the room. There it is. You can see this is his room. You can open a chest up there. Why are you talking about yourself in the third person? I don't understand that. But yeah, the chair's still on the floor. We can't fix it. We can loot our own room then. $100. Just sitting in a massive chest that's probably worth like 8 times as much. But as you can see, that's a picture of Tal, his brother, and his mom. And I love how tall she must be to be from that angle. Because you see how big Tal is, and you can see from that picture that he can't be like... he maybe lost a foot total, maybe. So like he would have been as tall in that picture as he is at as at his current height to his shoulders. So his mom must have been a giant. Weirded me out. And his older brother isn't much taller, so I'm led to believe that she's just huge. She's like 9 feet tall. Tall's mom is like 9 feet tall. She's a frost giant. Tall is part frost giant. Yeah, hiding in plain sight behind a stall. Yeah, that's.
Hiding place where no one ever goes. You can have the key, but don't tell anyone you got it from me. You can't miss it. The door is covered in red paint.
I believe I can hit that door before I leave, and I think I attempt to one way or the other. But I don't actually know for certainty if I do, because I vaguely remember running into issues trying to visit this place before. But you can... Oh, yeah, no, I have to wait until later.
Officers only in this area.
So, we can't go in there yet. Bummer. No spoilers yet. I'm sorry. I was mistaken. But still. And yes, I'm recording all of this session that was pre-recorded ages back. All in one sitting. So it's going to be an hour-long worth of me commentating, but it's probably going to be broken into like 2 or 3 parts just so I have some time before the next time I get to do this.
Cheapskates like you that make me work longer hours.
Hi, Kamo. You're Howard the Duck in the fantasy world, if he dyed his feathers, I don't know. Oh, and don't mind that, that's probably dogs barking at people. Because around here, dogs are everywhere. Oh, and there's a chainsaw sword in case you missed it. Oh, and then the weird butterfly catcher, dream catcher thing. And then there's a neutron blunderbuss, which at one point in time I made pretty awesome, but at the same time not that great. And then there's the Mephiticus. And I think I end up buying the Mephiticus at some point, because I think the file that I was using to record this has this, and I'm